Treasury spokesman Phillip Hammond and Liberal Democrat Treasury spokesman Lord Oakeshott. I began by asking the Lib Dems that they want to be tough on the city, but are their plans in danger of killing it?
Not at all. But we have to remember that when the city messes up, all of us have to carry the can. It's a very different industry from others. As we saw, if they get it wrong, we're all on the hook for trillions. And so we're not just concerned about employment and tax in the city, we have to look at the whole economy.
Are you concerned about alienating a lot of people who bring in tax revenue and do contribute indirectly or directly to London's economy and, dare I say, voters?
Well, of course we are very concerned to have sustainable, good quality jobs in the city, but we don't want boom and bust. And many people, as we saw in your clip earlier, many people have lost their jobs who had very high-earning jobs in the city and gone completely wrong. We want something much more stable and much more sustainable long-term, and that's why we are against big short-term bonuses that encourage gambling behaviour. OK,
Phillip Hammond, some tough talking there from the Liberal Democrats. We know that you're banning large cash bonuses for state-supported retail banks. How much is a large cash bonus, and are you going to tax bankers' bonuses?
Well, we didn't oppose the bankers' bonus tax that the government imposed this year as a one-year measure. What we need in the longer term is a system that makes sure that bonuses are not paid in a way that drive bankers to taking unacceptable risks. London needs a vibrant, healthy financial services sector, but Britain can't afford a financial services sector that takes unacceptable risks.
It sounds good, but how would you actually do that?
Well, we'd give the Bank of England, who we're going to put back in charge of regulating the banks after Gordon Brown's admission today that he got the regulatory system wrong, we'll put the Bank of England back in charge and we'll give them the power to set the rules for bankers' bonuses in a way that makes sure that the bonus system doesn't drive the bankers to taking risks.
What about a levy on bank profits?
Well, it's not a levy on profits. We're proposing a levy on banks, but we'll charge the levy on the bank's borrowings in the wholesale market. So this will be a levy which is designed to penalise the riskiest kind of behaviours that bankers take on.
What sort of percentage?
Well, we can't say yet because that will depend on the degree of international cooperation. Ideally, there would be a global consensus on this, but we've said we've got to take some leadership. We've got to go ahead with the levy anyway and then try to build the international consensus behind the UK and the US, who've already made a commitment to go ahead.
We can't afford to wait for everyone to get into step. We say have a
10%. Wait,
well, you're saying international consensus. We can't wait for that. We would put on a 10% tax on banks' profits now, and the other vital thing to change the culture is to break the banks up. Only the Liberal Democrats are saying we must split off the gambling side, stop them. Well, that's where the wild bonuses are, the bad behaviour, and we must only give a British taxpayer's guarantee to straightforward business and retail banking. We need to make the banks lend, stop, not gamble.
You've also said that you'll publish the names of all bankers earning more than the Prime Minister. What do you think that will achieve, or do you want people to feel ashamed of what they do?
We don't want them to feel ashamed, but why are they hiding? We believe that all people in business earning over $200,000 a year should be published. Directors already have to show that. There is far too big a gap between top pay and the rest in all companies.
What do the Tories make of that?
We're all in favour of transparency, but what we don't need is knee-jerk measures, knee-jerk reactions, which are simply designed to get some populist payback during an election period. We've got to think through very carefully how we tackle the problems in our financial markets. London's financial markets are a vital part of our economy. They're a critical part of the economy of London. We've got to stop the banks behaving irresponsibly, but we mustn't destroy them in the process.
Okay, we announced this policy a year ago, and you're only catching up now.
The Liberal Democrats and Conservatives talking to me a little earlier. Now, last week we told you how the candidate for the UK Independence Party was reprimanded for posting racist remarks on a website. Now, Paul Whiffen